Hi there, I'm Ahsan Ali Shaw, and you're watching me on YouTube and Facebook Live. Today, we are going to talk about higher self and how to connect with it. It's the continuation of the topic that we have discussed in detail last week. Since the topic is so vast and multidimensional, and we decided to discuss it again, higher self. When I say higher self, and higher self as is it is a multidimensional topic, and different belief system give different definitions to the word higher self. It could be cosmic energy, it could be divine, it could be an intelligence from outer space, it could be an intelligence from an extension of your own intelligence, or it could be something else. It depends upon the belief system that you are following, and different belief systems give different definition to the word higher self. And the next part is how to connect with the higher self, with the divine, or with the higher intelligence, or with the extension of your own self. Then this part is also related to the belief system that you are following. It depend. It could be yoga, prayers, meditation. It could be something else or anything, any belief, because different belief systems give different routes and different ways to connect with the higher self. And what is the significance of higher self? Because there are many questions like, why are we here on this planet? What is our purpose here? Who brought us here? And what is this soul that we have inside of us? And where does it go when it leaves our body? All of these questions they want answered, and we all have these questions. And that's why higher self, the connection with higher self is so important. And today we are going to discuss with it higher self and how to connect with it. And to discuss this topic, my guest is Edward Konowicz, and he has joined us from Virginia, United States. Hey Ed,
Hey, Ahsan, how are you?
I'm doing good. And what a topic! And we are discussing it the second time.
Yeah, everyone has ideas on this, and I
Hmm.
have my guesses. And
Uh-huh.
I'd like to say the topic should be your higher self, not my higher self. I have my own way of getting high,
Uh-huh.
which is really seeing a bigger perspective on life. And each person has to build from their memories, not from my or someone else's. Which is, it's the book you read is not by someone else is by yourself. I like to say if you can remember the times when you were at best, when you were doing really well, if you can remember the times where you were really enjoying life and kind of amplify that, that's how you get higher, by having your own self as the role model when you were at your best. So when I start discussing stuff, they're my guesses.
Mm. It
And
could be, it means your higher self.
right,
My higher self is different.
I disagree, and I want to say this again. It isn't that there's one God, it's that the divine,
Mm.
or what is higher, is unique. Each person should be unique, different. We should not all be following the same recipe or achievement. We need to be true to ourselves. And that has a lot to do with memory. And I really think people have been taught to listen to doctors, psychiatrists, new agers. So they're not true to themselves, and which is people are forgetting because they're not valuing their own memories. They're not valuing their own life. And it's difficult perceiving our own life because there's so much sadness. So the higher up that you go, the deeper you have to be. It's sort of like a tree. If you're going to be a tall tree, you're going to need big roots, or you're going to be a tall building, you're going to need a lot of cellars, which is sadness and highness. They go together because as you perceive life, you see some of its tragedies and pain and the people you missed and the lack of potential. So the first thing is what? Be true to yourself. Now,
Be
what does
true
that
to
mean?
yourself.
Now, other people say that,
Mm,
and I think it means you have to be true to your memories. And even negative memories are teaching you something. I don't say, oh, if you survived, you're better. It's agonizing to go through some of the misfortune, and we don't deserve all misfortune. I just did a video today earlier on
mm,
my Facebook page, which is karma's not based on ethics. The
mm,
innocent people get slammed because it's a lot about orientation. And that's why the eagle's such a symbol. And we say a higher self. You want to get up to a higher perspective to see what's going on. So when the train or the rain or the hurricane or the flood is coming, you can avoid it. And people misinterpret the Bible. Now, people
And
think
Ed,
it's about morality. They think it's
yeah,
about love.
mm,
But
Ed,
I don't bring light into the room to bring love.
uh-huh,
I turn on the lights so I don't trip on
mm,
toys of my grandchildren or trip off a rug that has been rolled a little bit. Light is to orient you. So in the Christian religion, Jesus is light of the world. That's not love. That's you want to be oriented, and sin, which has consequences, is you're stumbling, not because you did something wrong. I mean, alligators do a lot of things wrong. The
mm,
people in power do a lot of things because you didn't see.
mhm.
You're not
And
oriented.
I would like to say here that karma doesn't work in the real life. Karma doesn't work always.
Oh, it
Sometimes you
works.
see it.
It's just not
Yeah,
how
sometimes
people thinks. It's not
yeah,
about ethics.
yeah.
It's
It
about
sometimes it
stupidity.
works,
It's
sometimes it
about,
works, and sometimes it doesn't.
oh, there's rules.
Yeah.
You're in the wrong place at the wrong time. You're on the
Mhm,
road on the bridge
mhm.
when the flood comes. You're in the wrong
Oh,
place. You could die. Get out of that place.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, what is the truth with karma? And no one says this but me. I'm the only one I know who says this in the world. It's group karma. You're on a plane, not you go crash. Everyone crashes. You're on a
Yeah.
boat. Everyone sinks.
Mhm.
You're in a rotten country. Everyone's doing bad.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with mostly group karma, and it's very real. I mean, look what's going on just in New York City, the center of this oppression. I
Mhm,
mean, New York City is like hell on earth.
mhm.
Got the worst politicians, the worst fascism, brutal police, homelessness. You know, the big financial corporations that want to tell you how to live and what to do. It's hell on earth, and finally, hell is flooding. Now,
Mhm.
of course, they couldn't hold water. See, karma is you work a case. You justify yourself. This is why I'm doing this.
Mhm.
You could be
Uh,
a bird.
mhm,
You could be a plumber, and you're justifying what you're doing. How much harmony. When your
mhm.
case fails, when people no longer believe in your case, um,
Yeah,
then you
man.
flood. Your case, your ka, is like the riverbank, the banks that are holding the flow of energy. And you're holding the flow of energy because you have good reason or cause. The Egyptian, the term for spirit or animus is ka. So cash is a bunch of animus or motivation or energy, directed energy. That's cash,
And
ka. We get the
and
word
what
God
hap-
from that.
and what happens when bad things happen to good people
They're in the
and
wrong
those
place. They're with the wrong group.
uh,
You befriend someone who's a creep. That creepiness is going to damage you.
yeah,
And I've done a lot of volunteer work in my life, particularly with the homeless. I used to go for 2 hours a week to a homeless shelter and get computers working and get people online, get them USB drives, socks, whatever they need. I even took a couple of people shopping for what they needed. But some of them were criminals. You had to stay away from them. You had to know, you
Yeah,
had to have discernment which of the homeless are criminals, which ones are there because hospitals damaged them or they were divorced. You have to figure out, okay, is this person harmful, helpful, and can you help them? And if
yeah,
you help someone too much, you're in trouble. And if you help
yeah.
someone too little, you're in trouble.
Mm.
So life is a lot about balancing and grace.
Balancing. Mm,
And you just got to be smart enough. The biggest, cause of bad karma is stupidity. You
mm.
drink and drive, you're going to push yourself near
Yeah,
trouble.
yes,
So you got to kind of look ahead. That's why it's the higher self. You're up higher, and you look at what's coming, and you try to prepare for it. And people keep thinking it's ethics, it's love. No, you got to first see things.
mm,
Now, after you see things and can prepare, now love can be the result because you can discern, well, who's the good people, who's the bad people. And that's a large part of your life is getting good people closer to you and bad people further away. That's the higher self. The higher self is like a tower because you
mm,
built those few good people, could be just one,
mm.
could be a good lover. You built those few good people close to you. You're a tower.
So, so in other words, we can say that higher self means you have to be wise. You have to be your own intelligence, using your own truth, knowing your own truth, and accepting it, and be wise.
Yeah, and know
Right?
know who's close to you. Know who truly respects you. Avoid disrespect. Someone disrespects you. I don't care whether it's a parent, a child, a spouse. If they don't respect you, they can't love you. Respect and love go together. And you have to decide, not the other person. The other person can say
Yeah.
they love you, but do they respect you
The yeah.
is the core of it.
Yeah.
And
I
we
think
I think
respect. I think respect is more important than love. If the person says claims that he loves you, but he doesn't respect you, then what is the meaning of that love without respect?
yeah, and our memories are going to help us because they're people a lot of people say this. Our memories are the lessons about who we can count on a little bit and who we can't. Now, human beings are not that good.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to find that many people you can count on that's going to actually have enough feelings to understand the pain you've been through. And most people don't have that respect. If a person's alive, they've already learned something. I mean, it's hard to stay alive and functional on this planet. It's not easy. But I want to get to this, and people didn't understand this. When they go to Tibet, in Tibet, there's these old villages, and they have these towers. And they said, well, why did they build these towers? And communication is really important. That's why I'm on here. They built the towers for communicating because when you're on the ground and there's buildings around you and trees, you can only talk to about 5, 10 people. But you go up in a tower, particularly if you sing, you see that in the Arab countries and the minarets and stuff, where you have morning, afternoon, and evening prayer or
Prayers.
whatever. People go up the
Okay.
tower and they now have loudspeakers, but they used to sing real loud their prayer or whatever, and they
Mm.
would climb the tower so everyone could hear it. And we now have, you know, antenna on towers to look at our laptops or cell phones or television. And the towers before were people who could sing well. The singers were the ones who communicated to everyone. And
I
so,
have a there's
what
a
that
mosque.
means is harmony. We got to sort of sing in our life. It's hard. There's so much
Uh,
suffering and sadness.
there's a mosque near to my house, just before my house, and it has a tower, and the speaker is at the top of the tower. So
Yeah.
when the prayer times, the call for prayer, it goes. It is so loud, and it goes. it covers a lot of distance, and many people could hear it.
Yeah, if we can be a tower ourselves, it the tower is symbol of communicating. We our thinking is so integrated, so clear that people unconsciously hear us. We have an influence. And it's sort of like the birds in the morning, whatever they're saying, they still influence us. I mean, I get up
Mhm,
sometimes and I listen to all the birds going back and forth. And they kind of remind me of dolphins squeaking to each other. Dolphins get together and they squeak to each other. Instead of speak, they squeak.
mhm,
But it's a feeling. A
and
large part of life is a feeling. And to get to a higher self, we need to rest in our higher feelings. We can't let people, we even say that, don't let people pull you down. That means don't let them pull you down into lower feelings. Sadness is good. I mean, sadness is an appropriate emotion for the pain that we and others that we love experience. We get sad, and that's cool. I mean, it's cool to be sad. And it's also cool to dream. We dream of people close to us. We dream of uh, getting something done well. We dream of, some people dream of money, which is financial security, and there's also rotten people that have rotten nightmares. They dream of hurting people, controlling them, and damaging. There are a lot of sadistic people. So the
mhm,
higher self is on a tower of a few people, because our soul is really our home, and home, or om, is the most sacred word in the universe, which is what is sacred is not the church or the mosque or the shrine, is our
is
home.
your own. Yes, your
And
either
it should
your
be a
home
place, a
or
place of total
yourself.
respect. Yes.
Mhm. And,
A
and and
place.
if we live in a world with there's so much distraction. We are distracted by the notifications, social media notifications, bills, vehicles are passing by, something happening in the family. There's so many things. There's so many distractions. So connecting with higher self and seeing and the witnessing the glimpses of divine, some people do that, but most of them they can't, and because of the distractions.
Well, it's hard all the distraction. That's why meditation is important. I don't quite like to say prayer, because I think this one God thinking is an illusion, is a programming. We want to be in touch with the divine, and to divine in English means to separate. You have a divining rod to find out where is the water going to be. The divining rod starts pointing down, so you know where to dig your well. So divining is being able to see the difference between two things. And there are practical things with this. There is yoga. Yoga means link. And I'm not emphasizing, though I do yoga, because I have to be flexible. And that's really important to stretch your
I also
joints.
I also do yoga,
The
as
the
everyone.
the important thing is the word link. And we have a play on words. Exercise has two meanings. You got exorcise, which is to get the demons and bad spirits out. And when you exercise, you're really getting bad stuff out. That's why you sweat and stuff. And after you exercise, whether it's yoga, jogging, swimming, whatever, and you get some of that bad stuff out, you can meditate or clear your mind. In fact, I meditated once after I did a lot of exercise. I'd go to work, I'll come home, I'll do exercises, yoga, part of it. Then I take a little nap before I go out and see my friends and hang around. And one time I did such really good exercise and really good meditation. I went to take a nap, and I remember choosing to be born a human being. It was very frightening, very frightening to birth or incarnate, because you forget your memory of your former self. It's a form of death. To
Mm,
birth is a form of death. And I would have never gotten to that memory without the exercise and meditation. Took a real lot of good yoga, a real lot of good meditation for me to remember before I was a human being. I mean, it just was a, a lot of relaxation. In fact,
How
some
was that
people,
experience? How was
what's
that
that?
experience? How was that experience?
Oh, it was frightening. It was like dying. I knew to be born a human being, I would forget everything about my soul and I would have to start from scratch. So I needed faith and believing I could learn everything again. and yeah, it was very scary. It totally frightening. But
Oh, I
and I
can
don't
imagine.
remember much. You don't
Mm-hmm.
remember much because the act of incarnating really, you forget a lot because you're not in that space. You're in a different world. And if you want to remember your life as a baby, and this is all trick, this is not me. Psychologists know this. Go on your hands and knees and crawl around, look under the bed for dust, Just start crawling for an hour like a baby, and some of your baby memories will come back to you. Because we don't do the stuff we did as a baby. We're not there crying for some milk or some nursing. We're not crawling around exploring. Hey, what's this over here? What's under this? Because we can't
Mm-hmm.
even stand. So our memories are tied to certain experiences like smell, and that's dogs. They're smelling for memories and stuff.
Mm-hmm. I
And
think memories.
so it's very hard to remember our past existence. Very difficult.
I think memories are also related with listening, and the things we hear, they also impact our memories. It helps us to remind things. The
Well,
voice
the
that we.
society is trying to destroy our memory. All proof is coincidental. You do something in a laboratory and something happens, you tied what you did to the result. That's coincidence. And in our society, you're not supposed to believe in your own science. If you take a pill and you get a heart attack the day after or a stroke, no, that's not proof. A doctor has to approve it. Well, that's nonsense.
Yeah.
The coincidence, which they're calling, which is the liars in power, anecdotal, is your proof. You
Mm,
did it and didn't work, or you did it and it did work. That's not anecdotal. Now, someone else tells you what they did and what happened, depending on how close they are to you and how reliable, it may be anecdotal, it may be proof. But scientists cheat, they lie, they're not
mhm.
reliable. So everything
They
is
have.
coincidental. So
Mhm,
you don't want to throw away your coincidental truth. And society wants to control you. Society wants to enslave you. So they say, no, don't be true to yourself. It's just
mhm,
coincidence.
mhm,
Well, look,
mhm.
your damn stinking science is all coincidence too. It's just
Yeah.
that you
These
got
are just
approval.
theories. Yeah. All of them
You,
are just theories.
yeah, they're
When we
just
talk about.
theories
Yeah.
and coincidence.
Mm,
Do step 1, 2, and you get three. And as long as that keeps working, you say, yeah, 1, 2 leads to three. It's
mm,
coincidence. And it can change. It can stop working. That's the placebo effect. Whenever you first start a new medicine or new herb, people get better. They believe in something new. Then after it gets used a lot, that placebo effect decreases. So
mm,
belief is important.
mm,
Not to believe in belief, but to believe, okay, with my memory, with my ideas, I'm going to try to do well. And I'm probably going to work and do well. So you want to believe in yourself. That's what it means. It doesn't mean
mm.
believe in belief.
Speaking
It
of
means believe in
medicine,
yourself.
speaking of medicine, Ed, there are some medicines that works a few times. When you uh, start using it over time, then they don't work. Then
No,
you
that
have
can
to
make you
change those.
worse.
Yeah, you have to change those medicine with another formula with the same characteristic, and they
Yeah,
give
and
you some
the
type of
doctors
relief.
are so criminal today. When you
Mhm.
go back and say the medicine doesn't work, about half of them will give you more of it, say you're not taking enough. And then
Yeah.
rather than you throw away that medicine, they add another one to it. They're drug
Mhm,
pushers. They
mhm,
want your more and more drugs. It's a
mhm.
nightmare. And because they're, quote, doctors, you're not allowed to disagree with them. And the doctors that
Yeah,
tell the
they have a
truth,
license.
they
They
lose
have
their
a license.
license.
Yeah,
A
they have a
license is a
license.
sense to lie. The doctors
Yeah,
have a license, a sense to lie, a lie sense.
a
And if you
license.
challenge their lies, you're
You
seen as
can't.
troublemaker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to
so
be part of the system.
yeah, so
If
you want to get higher. Higher is
mhm, mhm,
see more around you.
mhm,
You want to be that tower based on your home, which is that one or two people who respect you and care for you. Respect is really important. Don't accept anyone claiming they love you if they don't respect you. It's a good rule.
yeah, and respect is even more important than love. And
Yeah,
I think,
yeah, because if you're disrespected, you're going to be
mhm,
damaged.
yeah,
People say we got all this power. Well, everyone has
mhm,
all this power. So, given everything has all this power, we don't have much power.
mhm. What
Uh,
is the meaning of love when you don't respect the choices of the other person? You are not
Right. Love is
respecting the
more
choices.
harmony. You can
Yeah.
say you love a person, give them gifts, hug
Mhm,
them, or whatever. But
mhm,
you got to know when they want a hug and when they don't want a hug. You got to
mhm,
be in harmony with them. You got to know
mhm,
what gift they want and what they don't want. Or
mhm.
it's more
Respect their
harmony.
boundaries. Respect their boundaries.
We'll repeat that. The sound got
Res-
muffled.
Respect their boundaries.
Yeah, there's respect boundaries. And
Yes.
part of being on the tower, you can see the boundaries.
Yes.
So your higher
And
self, and you don't have
yeah.
to, be like me. So I have an important experience.
Mhm.
I remember
So,
choosing to be born. I
yeah.
also had
I never.
one relative die and come to me in a dream and tell me that she had died. And I wrote down the time, which is like 5 a.m. in the morning. Phone rang 2 hours later with her daughter informing my mom that she had died. So I know I have an eternal soul because one of my relatives visited me when she died. She came to me when she died in a dream. And I know I
Mhm.
have eternal soul because I remember the pain of being trying to be born a human being. It was a frightening choice. So
I never.
I have a
I never.
little advantage
I
over
never
others.
had such experience. I never had such experience, and I wish I would had. I think I haven't reached to that level of meditation, and it's a lot of work to do.
Well, there's a secret. Only a few people know this. If your
Okay.
meditation is good, you fall asleep.
Hmm.
Sleep is like the highest form of meditation. And when you move from your meditation to sleep, the sleep brings you memories and understanding that you can't believe. They're super dreams. So your
Hmm.
meditation is really good. You enter into a super dream like state of sleep.
Hmm. From the other world, it gives you
Yeah.
a memory from the
But
other
a
world.
major thing,
Yeah.
and Kundalini yoga, in which you really stretch your back and align it. People go to chiropractors. It's important. I have to sometimes get up in the middle of the night and do about an hour exercise of stretching, aligning my back. And I have a whole bunch of techniques to do this that
Hmm.
my body has learned. So most of the time, I never have a backache because my back tells me what part is misaligned, and I naturally have exercises or positions I push to realign my back. And I think it's really important. The alignment of the back, our bones, the loosening of it. And I can crack my back. You kind of watch movies of Bruce Lee who did a lot of exercise and watch him crack down his back. It's real important to get those vertebrae loose so they don't press on the nerves. So the energy flows. And then you get that energy flowing from the electrical activity of your mind just going up and down your back. And a lot of people have different theories of that, and a lot of them are good and some of them are bad. But I do think there's an exercise level to getting a higher self. Now, people get there different ways. Gymnastics, they get there walking, they get there in how they practice it. I mean, I sit here and I start arching my back and cracking it a lot. I don't like doing it on a video, but even when I'm sitting, I'm going through at times back exercises. So there's a lot of aspects to a higher
different
self.
different ways to connect with the higher self.
Yeah, there's exercise, there's meditation, there's proper eating certain foods. There's
doing something
sites,
that you
there's
love.
places. Yeah, there's places you go that lend to your meditation or peace. I mean, there was this park in St. Louis I used to go to. It was called Forest Park. And there were certain sections that were magical. Now, it was easy for me because I'm a big, fast guy. When I was young, I was even bigger, stronger, and faster. So I wasn't in much danger in the park. So that's not for everybody. And you got to always remember, life is dangerous. A lot of people are dangerous. But it could be a place. I mean, people go to church, temples, synagogue, mosques. But your place may be a museum. My place is museums. I like to be in an art museum or a historical house. I like comprehending other consciousness, or a concert hall listening to an opera or a symphony. People find meditation a time to really expand the mind in different places. So getting to a higher self, people have different ways of doing that. And I can explain my way, which has
I
been
think
working pretty good
higher
for
self, I
me.
think, is a peace of mind. Whatever gives you peace of mind, and this is the way to connect with it, to connect
Well,
with
I
the
don't
higher
know whether
self.
it's peace. I mean, we can have such tragedy and be under economic stress. Peace may not be possible.
Yeah.
You don't want to force peace, but we can have clarity of mind. Our reason can resolve us, because the greatest harmony we need is harmony with ourself. We have to come to some respect of ourself, even though we make a lot of mistakes. We still have to come to some respect and harmony within ourselves. And that's important. And you need a lot of reasoning to do that.
Yes.
And reasoning is not moving towards perfection. Reasoning is reasonable expectations of yourself, that you can set little steps to go to certain goals. So when you do those, you say, hey, yeah, I did that. You have to justify yourself. A
So
real
what
key to
are
a higher self is justification.
your final thoughts for today's summary of our life?
Well, a lot of different ways to reach the higher self, which is you want to build a solid home, which is with people, probably one or two, that respect you. Respect is really important for a higher self. You want to have a big perspective, and you get that by integrating your memories. Your memories, and a lot of people say this, are lessons to you. You are not your experience. Your experience is your tool. Let me repeat that. You're not your experience. Your experiences are your tools. And it doesn't mean if something bad happened to you, it's good. No, if something bad happens to you, it's bad.
Yeah.
Don't get delusional. And the idea
Yeah.
is not to get to peace. The
It is
idea
a
is to
tool.
get to some harmony, some level of cooperation, particularly in your home, particularly in your own mind, and get to feeling good about yourself. I wouldn't say peace. Feeling good about yourself and good about the challenge of the universe. I wouldn't say the universe is good.
Yeah.
I think it's cruel at times, it's overwhelming. But
It could be
then we
good,
can be good. And
depending upon the moments.
we can have the confidence or belief in ourselves to meet the challenge of reducing suffering in ourselves and others. But we got to get high. We got to stand above others. We got to get to the top of that redwood tree with a larger perspective, a higher self. And it's rooted in our memories.
Mhm.
It's rooted
By hi-
in our experiences. And
by high doesn't mean that you have to take drugs and be
yeah,
high. High means to true harmony with yourself and true to
well, and have
yourself.
big perspective to be able to
Yeah.
see the larger picture.
Mhm.
Because in the
Yes.
meantime, you could be being crushed.
Yes.
Let's be realistic. Life is really painful, and you could be in agonizing disease, economic stress. You can have but you have belief. You say, well, I've been through this before, or others have been through this, and I'm going to figure this out. You got to believe in yourself. I don't mean believe in religion. I mean believe in your ability to figure something out, that there's something magical about the universe. And though it's a small stream of good magic, you have to tap into it.
Yes.
And
There's
that's
so
sort of my final thoughts. Tap
yeah.
into the small stream of goodness.
Mhm. And there are so many perspectives to approach higher self and to discuss it. And we used a different perspective to discuss higher self today. And I think we should discuss it again, or we should give a space and discuss again a few weeks later. And if you have any questions, just leave it in the comment box below to ask, tag Ed, and he will reply to you as soon as he can.
Well, you
And
gotta make your comments on my page. I have two threads started for this particular live or interview. And
yes,
if you make your comments on my page, I can reply. A lot of times I can't find these comments in StreamYard and on YouTube, but on my Facebook page under Edward Konowicz,
yes,
you can find me. And
yes,
I generally will respond to almost all comments.
yes. And thank you. Have a good day, good night, good afternoon, wherever you
Okay.
are.
All right. Good night, everybody, or good day, or what else?